Hi, Scott Whitley here. Hope you're doing well. In this lesson, we're going to look at syncopation and how it can take you from playing lines like this to playing lines like this. So with that being said, roll that intro. If you search the internet for the definition of syncopation, you'll find phrases like a type of musical rhythm in which strong notes are not on the beat, and a shifting of the normal accent, usually by stressing normally unaccented beats. Now that's all well and good, but in this lesson we're going to look at what that actually means in a practical, real-world context. Now if you didn't already know, a lot of Western music is in 4/4. 4/4 is a time signature in which you'd count 4 beats in each bar or measure, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So each of those 4 beats is a full bar or measure. And if I play that on the bass to a regular rock rhythm, it would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's a great sound, and an awful lot of tracks have that kind of feel and sound on. But what about if you want to be a bit more creative and maybe sound a bit more funky and create more groove? Well, that's where syncopation comes in. What we can do is take that same measure or bar or length of time that we played those 4 beats in, and we can split it up into a grid of 8. And that's going to sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and what I essentially did there was took the 1, 2, 3, 4 that we had in the first example, and I added the word and in between. So let's see how that sounds when we play it on the bass. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and sounds great. It's very rocky or poppy. It's got a great driving feel. And again, you'll hear that on a ton of records and tracks. As good as it is and important as that feel is, it's still maybe a little obvious and predictable. What about if we only play on the ands? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Sounds cool, sounds interesting. I wouldn't describe it as amazing, but you can see how just shifting to those ands created a completely different feel and vibe. But again, just playing on the offs like that sounds a little bit predictable and obvious, even though it sounded different and had a totally different feel. The trick with syncopation is to take some of those and notes, play them really strongly, accent them, and mix them up with the strong beats, the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4. Let me give you some examples. Another. Another. One more. And what I was doing there is either playing, muting, or leaving out strong notes, the 1, 2, 3, 4, and the same with the ands, either playing, missing them out, or muting them. Sometimes those and notes are referred to offbeats or pushes and things like that. And essentially that describes it really well. We're kind of either pushing the beat or playing off the main beat, off beat. Now there's probably a near infinite number of combinations of muted ons and sounded offs and all the rest of it you could do using this technique. And this is just 8th notes. We can apply this to what are called 16th notes as well, and we're going to look at that in the next lesson. But sticking with 8th notes for now, what I've done is put a worksheet together that you can download. The link should be on the screen now. If it's not, it's in the description below the video. And in that worksheet, I put together a bunch of exercises that you can try for yourself, and there's audio clips of them so you can hear how this should sound against the beat. And the idea is to help you get you started in your syncopation journey and start hearing those ands more naturally. What I recommend you do when you've downloaded the PDF is to take one exercise at a time and work it over and over again, preferably to a drum machine or a metronome, until it feels second nature and it grooves and it feels great and really natural. And only then would I move on to exercise 2 and so on. Once you get more comfortable with 8th note syncopation, we can move on to 16th note stuff. And like I say, that's going to be in the next video. Downloading the worksheet is definitely the way to go if you want to get deeper into this. But just really quickly, let me give you a couple of examples and talk through what I'm doing. I'm going to play that again and I'm going to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just listen and see if you can pick out whether the notes I play sit on a strong beat, a 1, 2, 3, 4, or on an and. Check it out. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Did you get it? Let me do it more slowly so you can hear a bit more clearly. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Only the first note was actually on a strong beat. The rest were all on the ands. Let me give you another example. And with the count, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. More slowly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 4. Again, hopefully you noticed a lot of those notes were on the ands. Sounds really cool, and this stuff's going to get you well on your way to playing great syncopated lines. One thing I really should point out is while I was playing those 2 lines, I was actually playing quite a few ghost or muted notes. Now this is something I do almost unconsciously. I'm almost semi-unaware I'm doing it. But let's just look at it without the drums and let's just see what I was doing in that last line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so I was kind of keeping time for myself. I was doing this little thing, which is really cool. Let me just show you that. All I'm doing is slapping my finger onto the string I'm playing, and then plucking back out, and then going round in a circle, slapping it back again, plucking. And that's it. I use that a lot. It's a really fun thing to do. And it's a great way to kind of keep a bit of groove and time going when there are those kind of long gaps. Check it out one more time. In fact, I was playing most of that line doing that. So there was just that bit where I had to kind of bring 2 fingers in. But for the rest of it, and believe it or not, physically doing something like that, filling in those strong beats and those gaps, can actually help you feel and play those ands more easily. So that's definitely something else to explore, and more on that in another lesson. If you haven't already, don't forget to download the PDF. The link is in the description below. That PDF is really going to help you get on your journey. And if you're enjoying these videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It does the channel an immense amount of good. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.